What's up everyone, Ryan from Oakland Ghosts, and if you've watched my channel before, you know I love the Moog Sound Studio. I love the Mother 32. It was my first analog synth, but if there's one drawback to the Mother 32, it's that it is a single oscillator. Wah, wah, wah. I've since got other gear that has more oscillators, and the way you get that really beefy tone, especially that thing you probably come to associate Moog with, is you need at least one more oscillator. But did you know there are ways to give the Mother 32 extra oscillators? Especially if you have other gear that has oscillators to spare, but even if you don't, you can get at least two voices out of the Mother 32. And today I'm going to show you how. So the first way, here's a little sequence I got going, right? Simple sequence. Now, right now, I'm all the way over. I'm on a pulse wave. And as you know, if you have a Mother 32, it has pulse wave and it has a sawtooth wave. But did you know you could actually play both? You can. And the way you do that is you go over here to VCO saw, and we're going to patch that in to the external audio. Now, normally, when nothing's patched in here, you get noise, right? But if we patch the saw, since I'm on a pulse wave, into there, over here, right? This is still our pulse. Over here, now we're getting the saw wave. And if we mix anywhere in between, we're getting both. Boom! We got two voices. Amazing! Now, this is cool, and it is useful for at least getting, it's more like almost wave shaping to me. It's like you're really just blending between the waveforms a little bit because they're in perfect tune with each other. Because it's only a single oscillator, the frequency is tied to both waveforms. And what really makes those beefy sounds when you have multiple oscillators is one is usually slightly detuned. And now, obviously, we can't do that with just the Mother 32. Now, you can also get a second voice by putting the LFO into audio rate. That's a little crazy, and it's a lot harder to control the pitch, but it is an option. Like maybe you could use it for a kick drum and then write a bass pattern on top. Those are some things you might be able to do using the LFO at audio rate. But if you have a Mother 32, I would probably guess that you probably have some of the other Moog semi-modulars. And if you have a DFAM, for example, you can steal one of those oscillators. Let me show you what I mean. You know, a lot of times when I'm working on the DFAM, all I'm really looking for is like a kick and snare or a kick and hat, kind of like, let's see, we got a pattern. I'm going to turn off this, but I got a pattern here with the DFAM. Let's go ahead and turn it on. Just a simple kick snare, right? Very simple, but I'm not really using the second oscillator. Now, I could use it to do like some FM or something like that. But a lot of times I don't, it's really difficult to kind of control the pitch on on any of the oscillators on here because it's, it's a percussive synth. It's not really meant to play melodies or stuff. You can, but if I'm not doing bleeps or blops or using it for some FM to just get some really crunchy, weird sounds, then a lot of times I'm not even using that second oscillator, which means I can steal it to use with the Mother 32. Let me show you how we do that. The first thing that you want to do is we're going to go from KB. That's your keyboard out, right? So even though I have this running, I'm running the sequence on the Deluge from MIDI. This is basically going to be like your CV out, right? So it's going to be the different volts per octave to change it. And what we're going to do is we're going to send that to VCO2. And then we're going to return VCO2 back to that external audio again. And let's run our sequence again. So we still got our kick going, right? Now let's turn up our little melody. Okay, so this is just the Mother 32, but check it out when I go all the way clockwise. Now I have VCO2 from the DFAM as a second voice on here. And what's cool is this one, I can detune. Right? Because you can turn it by turning the VCO. So that's probably in tune, but if we go slightly out of tune, it's just going to sound meatier. And there you go. Now you got a two voice. Got this side. How awesome is that, right? You know what? All right, so I'm gonna take the LFO from my Taiga and I'm gonna send that to mix 2. I'm gonna send VC mix to Molt. And now I can basically use those as sources of modulation, but I could still use the LFO that's built in for, I don't know, for example, let's go pulse width. So now that's modulating the pulse width, and it's a little faster LFO, and I got a slower LFO over on the Taiga. And let's send that to the cutoff. And let's shape that a little bit. And the reason I'm sending it to the mix is then I can use this as an attenuator so that it doesn't totally go silent, for example, at the lowest form. I can use it as an attenuator for the LFO. And I'm also gonna send the other Molt, I'm gonna send that to the mix CV. So that means this LFO is gonna mix the two sounds too. So you can hear now it's kind of moving between, not only is the cutoff going, but it's also mixing, going back and forth between the two sounds. Let's add some delay too to get really crazy. So I mean, check it out, man. There you go. We're now rocking this guy with 2 voices. It's just adding like just such a, it's just that extra sauce, you know? So there you have it. That's how you add it, an extra voice to your Mother 32 to get a little more beefiness out of it. And like I said, you can send any of those. You can send that KB to any extra oscillator that you have hanging around, as long as you bring it back into that extension, and then you could use the mix. You can mix between the two. And just like that, your Mother 32 just got beefier. I hope this was helpful, guys. I hope this makes sense. I mean, the thing that I love about it, like I said, I bet a lot of you have a DFAM if you have a Mother 32. Using that extra oscillator, if you're not using it, or if you're just using it for bleeps and blops that aren't helping your song that much, there's probably a good chance you can just steal it. And the good thing is that you can still use, look, I mean, the DFAM's still going on its own. It's still doing its thing. But now you're getting that sick tone out of the Mother 32 as well. I hope this was helpful, guys. I hope this actually makes sense. I mean, obviously, this is just a quick little demo. Just wanted to give you a quick tip. This is the cool thing about semi-modular. It's basically modular in a lot of ways, right? So there's a lot of flexibility. And even as simple as the Mother 32 is, there's so many utilities and so many things you can do on it. I can't see myself ever getting rid of it because you got that classic cutoff knob. Everybody loves that Moog filter, right? And boom, I can add another voice. And most monosynths are usually rocking 2 VCOs. Once you get more than that, it starts getting a little hectic. And you can do that. It's flexible like that. So there you go. Thanks for joining me, guys. Ryan from Oakland Ghosts. I'll catch you on the next one.